President of the Republic of Sierra Leone from 2007 to 2018. Your Excellency, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So when you look back at your political leadership journey, where did it all kind of begin for you?
I will say, in essence, it started when, in 1977, President Stevens, of blessed memory, called a snap election. By then, I was teaching in one of the senior secondary schools in my home, in Makeni, and by which time I have made an impression on my teacher colleagues within the township, the pupils in school, and not only in the school I was teaching, but all of the schools, because I was reaching out to most of them. And I've also made an impression in the minds of the members of the community. When this election was called, they urged me to kind of contest. At that time, I was just coming from the university, a young man. But of course, they galvanized quickly. And it was a constituency that I was going to win if the party symbol was given to me. But then the party and the president then had their plans. They wanted to continue with the incumbent. There was clear support in terms of the populace out there for me. But when the president decided that the party ticket should be given to the incumbent, who was much older, he invited me, and at the time he was like predicting the future. He said, "Young man, you have a future in politics. I see great things ahead of you, but you have to build your capacity. You have to ensure that you are from the university. You have to learn from the universe." And I accepted it in good faith. And then I decided to move on. But I immediately left the teaching profession. I went to the private sector and the insurance industry to develop a career. And then, but from that point, I had established a base in my hometown, and I come from a political family. And I knew then that it was just a matter of time. Even whilst I was in the private sector and the insurance industry, I have at some point, to shift.
And so you always knew, in a way, that at some point you would return to politics at the national stage. And then this journey then that takes you from the teacher into the private sector and then eventually to president, what were some of the key moments along the way, both successes and failure, that really had shaped your leadership, have shaped you as a leader and your perception of leadership? Are there kind of maybe a few moments that you look at and say, here I learned something that has stayed with me, or here I learned something I maybe shouldn't do, that kind of thing?
Well, it has been a long journey for me, because I was in the private sector for a period of 25, getting to 30 years. And I was observing what was happening in the political sphere. But then the country ran into a civil war. We had 11 years of civil war, very devastating war. It was a senseless war. It was just a war of people asking for things that were not achievable, and other people using the young people, the more raging rebels, to achieve their political aims. So it was senseless in the end. Nothing was achieved. But it was very devastating for the country, devastating for our people. And at the end of the war was declared over in 2002. But during the period of the war, it was dawned on me that something has to be done. You have to take some steps. You either put up with all of what is going on, or if you have to effect a change, you have to come in and be active in the process. Initially, my intention was not to become leader of the party. I was focused on just reorganizing the party, because our party was in governance until 1992, when it was overthrown by the military. And it was a year earlier the war started. And throughout that period of the military junta and some part of President Kaba's period of office, we had a war. I looked at what happened, the devastation, the destruction, and the kinds of things that Sierra Leoneans do not really deserve happened to all of us. And even in the private sector, things almost were at a standstill. So that was the moment, after consultations and hard thinking, we decided that we have to go into politics. Like I said, initially it was just supporting the party to come back into governance. But in the process of this engagement, I think the peers and comrades in the party called upon me to take over the leadership and become the flag bearer. And that was how the final decision was taken for me, not only to be in politics, but also to go in for the leadership of the party. And of course, when the party machinery, through a convention and other processes, decided on it, I was elected as a flag bearer of the party in the 2002 elections. It was the election I lost to President Jan Kaba. He was then the incumbent. No, but incidentally, it was in 2002 the war was declared over. But then I lost, and I continued as a leader of the opposition in parliament until 2007, when I contested again. And this time round, I won the elections, and I was elected president.
And that experience of taking on these political leadership positions, I mean, were they what you had expected, or were there some surprises for you that, you know, met you as you've reached that kind of stage? Were there some things that even at that point, with your career, with all your experiences, with everything that you and the country had been through, were there still some surprises for you as a leader?
Well, starting politics then, there were surprises and also meeting expectations. On the side of meeting our expectations,